Episode 20, Cam and Joe podcast. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Cameron. How are you, dude?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, man. I was sick, so we usually record a couple times a week. Last week we missed a day because I was like deathly ill, and so my mom is into holistic stuff, and she'd be buying me these essential oils, dude. I have a fucking tackle box full of essential oils. Okay, never used them, and then I know that you've had some luck using them. I'm like, let me Google this stuff. By the way, this is not what the podcast is about. I just wanted to tell you this. And there's actual nch.org, PubMed, scientific documents where they've studied with a placebo group and then an essential oil group. And one of the ones I was reading essentially was dude, it's the raw extract that they use to make medicine. It's literally just and I was like, oh, that fucking makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So then after reading that, I was bought in. Anyway, fast forward, I'm dying, dude. I had to go to the unemployment office because I was like, why am I not collecting unemployment? I was off work for a month. I'm like, I should get the money that I pay taxes on, right? Free money, right? Quote unquote. And I, of course, got fucking ill from going there, just in the dregs of a government building with a million awful people. I mean, no, they're not awful people, but there's a lot of people that go there. And anyway, but I got better and dude, I was only really sick for 2, maybe 3 days, from feverish dying to being basically okay. And the only thing I did differently in my sick protocol was using essential oil vaporizer at night, right by my face.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that for people who are doubtful. You can Google stuff a lot online, but you can also buy books that basically will you can look up any problem that you're sick and it'll tell you specifically essential oil combo and how to take it, whether it's orally or use it as antiseptic, wiping it on you or whatnot. So
yeah, it was, I was shocked, and having your anecdotal evidence, but yeah, so moving past that, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was cool. So this episode, we're going to talk about how to make $1,000 in a month. If you need an extra $1,000, if you want to try a side hustle, we're going to talk from our personal experience and then also things that we're interested in also trying. And then I kind of wanted to challenge us, if you're down with this, Cam, to try a couple of the things and then see maybe at the end of the month who's made the most or which modality was the most successful. And this is purely as a side project. We both have full-time jobs and lives. And so anyone who kind of wanted to emulate it at the similar pace, maybe you spend an hour a day on it, maybe they could also do something and make an extra $1,000.
Yeah, man, I would be down.
All right, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you're interested in having diarrhea, go to Taco Bell. Just kidding, but I would love some fucking Taco Bell. Abby's picking some up. So what got me interested in this topic, dude, was I was off and I'm like, man, I want to buy all these golf clubs, but I can't justify spending money without a good amount of money coming in. I'm like, let me sell some of my old golf clubs, and they're just sitting here. So I sell one, sell another, and then I'm like, this is kind of fun, watching the number build up on your eBay thing. And shipping's super easy. You print a label off there. And so I was like, you know what? I wonder if there are any other ways. And I figured since you're savvy with the monies, you'd be able to chime in on this. So have you ever tried to what's been the most lucrative side hustle or ones that you've kind of played with?
First of all, thanks. Now I got to get some Taco Bell after this podcast.
Yes.
Podcast is done. I love me some Taco Bell. What's your go-to?
Oh, lately it's been quesadilla. I'll do the quesadilla meal. So you get a taco quesadilla, and then they have the G2 Gatorade. And then I like a bean burrito. And sometimes I'll play with the Mexican pizza if I'm feeling fancy about what's your go-to.
I like that. Do you get the extra red sauce in your bean burrito?
Yeah, I've never tried that. Is that the move?
Oh, yeah, it's so good. And then
I
at the Taco Bell
try that.
Near me, I've never been asked this before, but when I ordered a bean burrito, they're like, do you want sour cream in your bean burrito too? I'm like, yeah, I do now.
They make a supreme, but it's got lettuce on it and it's gross. But
Yeah,
maybe just with the sour cream, it would be really good.
Yeah, that's a very strange combination to add lettuce into like refried beans.
Oh,
the texture is,
texturally
it doesn't
offensive.
match. I'm like, who thought of this? Anyway, sorry to get sidetracked, but
No, you're good.
we tried many side hustles before ultimately landing on Amazon. Each method we found is proven to work 100%. There's just different amounts of time and energy or different things that you have to do to make them successful. So to give you an idea of if you're going to start, like if you don't have a lot of money to start, maybe you got like $100 or something like that, you could totally go start one of these. If you have a ton of money, that's a different category, right? You could buy stocks and, get dividends or things like that, right? If you have enough, you could, be making $1,000 a month through that, or whether it's like crypto staking or interest off an investment, right? But I think for this episode, we're looking at, kind of entry level stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like more like sweat equity or like turning a little into a lot.
Yep. So flipping things like retail arbitrage is what they call it. That is one of the easy kind of entry level ways. You can go about that any place. You could go to garage sales, flea markets. You go to regular stores like Walmart, Target, things like that. And is what you'll do is you just look for products that are on sale, and they make different apps that you can download to where you can scan, or you can actually go on eBay or Amazon and scan products, like the barcode on the product, the store, and it'll immediately pull up listings on those sites so you can see what they're selling for. And you literally can just keep doing that over and over. Every product you see in the store, the majority of them, obviously, it's not going to be worth, trying to flip, but you will occasionally find things that are on sale or maybe like being discontinued out of stock, and you'll see they're selling for a lot. And that's where you can kind of scoop those up. That takes a lot of time and energy of like being at the stores and constantly scanning products. And the funny thing is, when we used to do that, we used to see other people like at the store doing the same thing. You could tell that they're also doing that. So
you probably like don't notice it until you're doing it, and then you're like, oh, they're doing it too. And then you're like, slap their hand like, no, I'm buying these granola bars.
Yes. So like toys is a good one. Collectibles, kids backpacks. Even if you're paying like full price, they might be, some people, kids are like, I really want that whatever backpack that my friend has.
So smart, especially if it's like whatever the hot deal is, and you like get all of them, and then you can like control the market.
Yeah. Or even like maybe someone just doesn't have that store close to where they live, right? So that option's not available for them. Or say like Bath and Body Works does an annual sale like twice a year to where they mark all their stuff on sale. There's some times where if you buy enough of them in bulk and you're getting that discount, you can turn around and package, send some things together and sell them online and make some profit.
Oh, that's smart.
Doing that as well.
I read that, and this is something I want to try. I've never been to an estate sale, but I hear that's like hot for finding. I think it's stuff that people just want to get rid of, and or they don't understand the value of it.
100%. Have you ever heard of Ryan Pineda? He's
What
like
is
a very
it, Ryan?
popular YouTuber. He used to be played for the Oakland A's, like a professional.
Ryan Pineda?
Pineda, I think is his last name. Ryan Pineda. I think he's based in LA.
Okay.
So his whole thing, I think he even did this like when he was playing like minor league ball or something like that, or maybe right after he got a baseball, was furniture flipping. So he would buy off Craigslist, like couches, tables, things like that, and keep them in storage at like, storage facility. Yeah. But he was buying like, pieces that were in decent shape and things like that, and he would clean them up. And, like you were saying, a lot of times people are like basically just giving stuff away because they want to get rid of it. And he's like, I just had a truck, and I would, anytime something would get posted, he's like, I would call and immediately go pick it up. And he's like, if I paid $100 for that, and then like 3 days later, I could turn around and sell it for $200 or whatever. So he's like, you just did volume, and occasionally, like you said, it'd be like a moving out sale or something like that, and you'd find a really valuable piece that he gets a great deal on, and then was turn around and flip it for a lot. So literally anything you can do to flip is the way to do that. Retail arbitrage.
Dude, that shit sounds like so fun to me. You definitely have
like
to
a treasure hunt.
Yeah, you definitely. And I was reading, it's like unless you're doing high ticket items, you have to do a lot of volume.
Yep.
So it's for someone who like you or I who are busy, or anyone listening that's busy, the lower level stuff is definitely not going to be worth your time. But if you can, I think furniture, something that you can do, even if it's $100, double your investment, a couple $100 once a week, there's $1,000 right there.
Exactly.
Right?
If you have a lot of free time, say you're like a college student, or you work part-time or something like that, or if you have a lot of time to dedicate, I feel like this is a good route to go, because like you said, it's a sweat equity is what you're putting in, so it doesn't take a lot of money to start. And then you can sell these items on Amazon, eBay. If you're getting like specialty things, I mean, now there's Craigslist and a lot of other things you can go to, or specialty forums. But yeah, you may get lucky and find a jackpot. Even at like Goodwill and things, you'll find some things that people donated that maybe they didn't know that there was value in it. Same with collectible toys, or like, parents go through kids' rooms and get rid of stuff. And, those toys could be like from the 80s and 90s. And there's a lot of nostalgia there that people are willing to pay. Even if you go to Target, like say a new set of Transformers comes out or something like that, depending on what you got, like, I mean, you can sometimes double your money. Or when like certain makeup comes out that's hard to find, like anything that's a limited quantity on release date that sells out instantly, like these makeup mystery boxes and things like that they get. We used to do those. If you get one of those, you can usually flip them on eBay for like a good chunk in the first couple of days.
I read and this is related, and I just remembered this guy, it was a gal or a guy or a couple, unimportant, but they found it was a woman, super rare game. What the fuck is it? Why isn't it saying it? But it was $8 at a Goodwill, and sold it for over 12 grand. I mean, that's like, diamond in the rough.
Yeah. Did you hear about that person? I think it was down in LA at one of the Goodwills or something. They found an original Andy Warhol painting.
Get out. They just didn't think it was original.
I guess they thought it was a replica.
Like
or something.
When they gave it away or sold it or whatever.
Yeah, when they donated it, so they thought
it's called Stadium Events.
They bought it for like $400, and I think it went to auction for like 40 million or something crazy.
Are you kidding me?
There was another incident where someone was at a garage sale and they noticed these glass negatives, which I guess certain cameras a long time ago when they used to take photos, they would embed them into glass, the negative, and they would develop
if it was
the picture
like a
from
really
that.
like good photo or something.
Yeah. And he's seen this person have these boxes of glass negatives, tons of them. He's looking at them, and there are a lot of landscapes. And he was like, oh, these look like landscapes from Yosemite or whatever. So he haggled with the guy, and he paid a couple $100 for like, I don't know, like 100 plus of them or something. Well, then he went and like had some person who knows what they're doing, like some museum or whatever, like look through them to authenticate them. It turns out they're long lost Ansel Adams photos that they thought burned down in a cabin he had like years ago, and they
he
went
just
to
like
auction.
gave them to someone, and they got rid of them on accident.
Something, and it ended up. I think those sold at auction for a few $100 million.
$100 million?
Yes.
Oh my god!
So
dude? I understand. I mean, even Andy Warhol. I mean, he like barely actually was a painter. Like, I get when like someone like an incredible 100, 200 plus year old painting that like took like a lot of skill is super valuable, but like, and photographers might want to like slap me in the face here, but like, I don't get that. Like,
well, it's because there were so many of the negatives, a few hundred of them, and they were Ansel Adams, and they were photos that like no one's ever seen before. So, and they're the negatives,
okay,
so they could develop.
I get that. Like, how is a painting? How is like a photo so valuable? Like, so let's say before he's famous,
yeah.
Like, how do they go? Oh, that picture that he took with a camera that's like a literal copy, because there's no like originals except for I guess the negatives.
Well, it's
I just don't understand how photography is so valuable. Like, there's a photographer named Peter Lick, and the dude's worth like over $100 million, and I'm like, how?
Well, there's definitely some money laundering and things that takes place in the art world. I could give you an example.
It's perfect for it, right?
Let's say you made $10 million last year, right? You'll go and hire some artist to paint you a picture for like 10 grand, right? Or whatever. And they'll just take a brush and like slap a stroke on a canvas and give it to you, right? And then you have your like art buddy in your friend circle appraise it for you and it appraises at $10 million, then you donate it to a museum. Well, now you donated $10 million, you made $10 million, you write it off, and you made no money that year, so you pay zero in taxes.
That's smart. And that's probably why, to your point, a lot of people like lend their artwork to museums. Like all those wings at, like, I live by the Art Institute in Chicago here. It's like the Cam Maples wing, the Joseph Jennings wing, you know? And I'm like, damn, bro, like, what kind of money do you have for that type of setup?
And when you think of it that way, then NFT crazy prices start to make sense, right?
Dude, I for sure was like, they're laundering money. Like when they were like millions of dollars, I was like, who is that money going to? And they were changing hands like 100 times. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Money
untraceably.
100%.
That's crazy.
Yes. So anyway, back to the eBay stuff. So you can do it, especially, you know, part-time. You made a really good point about just selling things around your house you don't need. But if you want like a stable kind of permanent side hustle, we just found out you have to have a lot of products in order to, if you're only selling, like, if you only have 10 products listed, you'll maybe make a sale like once every 2 weeks. The people who are successful and do eBay full time, they literally have like a room or their garage in their house is just shelving units stacked up, and there's just products and merchandise all over it, to where if you have hundreds or thousands of products listed, then you're going to make 10 or 15 sales a day. And that's when you have an actual full-time operation going, to where, you know, you package everything yourself, print the labels, get it, and like go to the post office once a day, right? That's literally your full-time job.
So I was doing some research, and I like to look at on Reddit to hear like anecdotal stuff too. And everyone was like, oh, you got to do buy it now because that's how you make the most money. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I sold something on auction and I got like $50, which was like less than I wanted, but it was still like better than nothing, right? But none of the shit's fucking selling. It just sits there. And then I kept reading about it, and it's like, yeah, like it'll sell eventually, but there's no like urgency, because it's not gonna. Those are 30 days minimum. And then if you try to price it in the same area as the other ones, like you have to have someone who's looking for it. And then why would they pick your item if it's the same price as the other one? So there's a lot. Like I only have like 300 reviews on eBay. There's people with 10,000. If I have the same cost item, I would buy it from the person with 10,000 reviews, right? Not some fucking guy who you're like, who is this dude?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And part of it really depends on what the item is and how many else of that item is listed online, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I had a couple jerseys that I sold. One was like a Barry Bonds All-Star jersey from when the Giants hosted the All-Star game, I think in the I forget when it was, like early 2000s or something like that. So, you know, he was on the Giants. They were hosting, and it's very cool. Like when it said national team, the like H was like the Golden Gate Bridge in the jersey. So it was really nice.
Awesome.
Like they don't sell those anymore, right? That jersey at the time was probably like, you know, 10 or 15 years old. And I was looking online and there was none, which is kind of hard to judge. So I was like, fuck it. I put it up for $300. I like within 24 hours, someone bought it. Like they basically were just like, hey, I want to confirm this is a size large. And I'm like, yep, it's a large. Here, there's a picture of the tag, like it's included. And they bought it instantly. And she responded back and she said, I've been looking for this as a surprise for my like husband or whatever for months. She's like, and none have come up at all. And as soon as I saw her,
bro, you should have been like, the price is actually 600.
No,
but it's
I
like
didn't
to your
look at
point,
it
like how
as that.
I'm sure you valued it in an intelligent way, but it's like, how do you even know in that case?
Yeah. And you know, I rarely wore the jersey and I ended up making like 3 times on what I actually paid for it. You know what I mean? So,
dude, do you remember Bret the Hitman Hart from WWF? The guy who like died. I think he had like a steroid overdose. Oh God, excuse me. Like, or like something probably bodybuilding related or cocaine related. But I haven't never worn white t-shirt. It's like him in like the pink outfit, and it's got his signature Bret the Hitman Hart. And I've always been like, I should sell this, but let me look it up what that's worth.
You should. But something like that is it's like so difficult to price that, right? Like
t-shirt.
That sounds like something you should take to Pawn Stars down in Vegas.
Dude, they would just wreck me on the value.
Probably.
Okay, so there's one with nothing on it. It's just straight up pink. All right, let me get on eBay here.
Well, yeah,
Man,
look at what
worth,
that
like,
shirt costs, and then
$10,000?
look at what his autograph cost on like any type of shirt or something you can wear, and then that's probably how you'll come up with a ballpark price.
That's a good idea.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, apparently he didn't penetrate the sports world as hard as I thought or wanted him to have. Because, I mean, maybe not a lot of T-shirts, autograph. Oh, God, sorry. It was like one of those weird little kid ones.
And while
You're
you're
almost choked to death.
while you're looking that up, I just want to add to a tip for people is if you do retail arbitrage, you can list on Amazon, eBay, OfferUp, like Craigslist. There's so many platforms you can list on to where, you know what I mean? Like taking a picture of the item and listing it, you'll have way more, I guess, audience or reach.
Dude, there are no autographed T-shirts. Like Brett the Hitman Hart T-shirts. Wait, is this autographed? No.
I don't know. I mean,
some of these shirts, they're literally just selling the shirts.
Throw it
for
up,
like $100.
throw the autographed one up for like, I don't know, $1,000 or something. See what happens. You never know.
Just to see.
Yeah. I mean, whatever
here's like
number
his card is going for $130.
an autograph card.
Yeah. No T-shirts though. It's essentially one of a
but
kind.
if a plain T-shirt's going for 100, I don't know. I mean, realistically, someone who's a big fan would maybe pay. And that's the thing, right? Since he's deceased, like there's not going to be any more. So now it's like the signatures are rare and limited. I don't know. Yeah, throw it up for an amount that if it's sold, you would be fine with letting it go. I mean, that's basically how I looked at the jersey when I posted it on there.
Yeah. All right, that's a good point. I'm trying to think of what
I looked at what his plain regular game jerseys that were autographed were selling for. And then since this is like a rare, like out of production thing, that's why I priced it the amount that I did. But yeah, that gal probably would have paid like $1,000 for it. But
yeah, just especially because of like the sentimental value.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just list it for a ton and just like cross my fingers. I think like $500 would be cool. Just have an extra $500. I don't think that thing's gonna like massively accrue in value. Like if I generationally like inherited it down to my kin, like 200 years from now, and they're like, who the fuck is Brett the Hitman Hart? Like at least there's like a minuscularity of familiarity there, at least with the guy still.
Exactly.
So I really like the idea of like flipping stuff, especially if it's like shit that's just burning a hole in your closet or you're gonna toss it. Like, try selling it. Like I've thrown so many things out that probably had some value, and it's so easy to ship stuff, and you just have the buyer pay the shipping. So okay, if you're gonna throw out 10 things for $10, would you like to have $100? Like, can't kill you to take a couple pictures. It's free to post on most of the sites, 99% of them, and then some take a little fee, but it's like essentially free money in that essence.
Yeah, the fees are small and things. So, and when we did that, we just had like an Excel spreadsheet, and there's actually, I forget, there was some, I don't remember how I found this initially. It must have been some forum or something that someone was like, oh yeah, hey, here's this Excel spreadsheet I made for like track eBay purchases, which you can make on your own. But the dude was only charging $20 a year to get the updated version, and that's what we use for our taxes to show like all of our sales and the amounts. It basically like connected to your eBay account, and it would download like every time you had sales, it would pull all the numbers
like
and
Google,
stuff
like a live doc essentially
for you, basically. Yeah.
And then you just have to like attach it with your taxes.
Correct. So I was like, yes, I'll pay $20 for this in a second. Like this is saving so much time than to have manually like going in here and doing this.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And another tip you can do too is like, if you're the same price as everyone else, but yours is, you can choose to have part of your sales to go to charity. That also increases your sales. Plus you can pick what charity you want to go to for a good cause. So
it does?
Yeah.
Because people that check that will only see items that contribute to charity.
Well, that, and like if me and you were selling the exact same product for like the same price, but 10% of my product's sales will go to support a charity, most people would usually be like, oh, well, it's the same no matter who I picked, but this one's going to help charity. Some of the money will go to charity.
Okay. And then it's like you're like saying, hey, it's not like a huge loss of profit, and at least I get the sale faster.
Yeah. So we did like Wounded Warrior for ours that we would donate. And then eventually, as we moved to Amazon, eBay was basically like another place to list our products, because sometimes Amazon will like cancel your product or close your listing, or all of a sudden be like, that product's now banned from Amazon. So it's good to have a backup established where you've already built like reviews and like, you know.
What's the startup cost on that Amazon stuff? Because I was like, I went like to down the rabbit hole on doing FBA up to the point of where I was like, okay, now I have to order products from a supplier. And I was like, this is getting expensive.
So you can start for as little as you want. I think it's $40 a year or
But
something
you have,
like that.
I'm talking about
the first 40 listings you post are free, and after that, I think it's like $1 a listing or something.
So when
like that.
you actually like order the product though, like how much does that like run you?
It really
Like,
depends
is that,
on
like,
what
thousands.
It depends on what product you want to do. Like when we started, we did a small order of like a couple $100.
Really? Just to kind of dip your toe?
Well, so like we did accessories, like travel accessories, and one was luggage tags for cruise ships, which they're different shape than a regular luggage tag for your name and address like you put on your bag. These are bigger and the clear. So basically you print your boarding pass like at home on a printer paper, like a 11.5 by 8, and then you fold it, you know, like certain ways, and it has all your information. That's what you stick in there, and then it zip seals. So like if it's raining at the port or whatever, it doesn't get wet. And then, so that basically is what we're doing. And those cost, when we started buying them in bulk, they're roughly, with the shipping included, 31 cents per tag. And then we sell them in 4, 6, and 8 packs. I think the largest order we did was maybe $10,000 at a time or something like that.
Damn.
So as we grew, but initially it was like a few $100 to do that. And then as we learned and did
including the like the shipping to get it to the Amazon warehouse.
Yeah. So so initially there's people out there, you can take their courses and things like that. I mean, we could do a whole episode just on FBA if people are interested.
But
like, you go look for products that are popular and selling well, like high volume in a niche market. And then you look at who the top person is or the top few, and you look at all the negative reviews of what people are complaining about. Most of them are just bullshit, like my product income or whatever. But some of them are actual feedback. And someone says like, hey, the loop breaks. But like, you know, enough people keep saying, oh, it broke for me. Or it's like, I don't like the material, whatever the case, right? Then is what we did is go to Alibaba online in China, contact the manufacturers that are making that same product and say, hey, I'm interested in this product, but these are the things I would like you to do, like make changes on it, right? So you take all the issues people have with the top sellers and you fix the product and make it better. And then
my dude, that's so fucking smart.
Yes. And then you slide in and it takes you time, but as you start building, now all of a sudden everyone starts realizing like your product is the best one. And all you start getting is positive reviews. You start building this traction. And so to give you an idea, like luggage tags was, I think as a whole, and there's all these different like Google Chrome extensions and things like that you can purchase where people like, I don't know, they built all this shit that like scans Amazon for products for you, and it'll tell you like how many are being sold a month and the categories and the rankings, all this mathematical stuff so you can like research and pick your product. But luggage tags for cruise ships were doing about, the top seller was doing $110,000 in sales a month.
Jesus.
Yeah. And this is niche. So this is what you want. Something
AF.
that's making a lot. When we started building up, we got to the point where we were at 10% of their market share, 11% of their market share, 12% of their market share. We started gaining. We were number 2 on the listing, and they were paying for advertising, and we weren't. So at one point we did 11,000 tag sales, 10,500 tag sales at our best month, and it was escalating. Like we were on fucking pace to like, I left my job for this basically. Like,
oh my God, bro. So that's like, this is enough to have like one person at least that has to work on it full time.
Yes. And, so our profit margin is about 40%. So at the highest one, we did almost $11,000 in sales. So, you know, that was roughly $4,500 a month. And for most people, like, I mean, that replaced my salary at the time. Like, that's a significant amount of money.
Especially when you're seeing it grow and you're working on your own thing, dude. Like, if I had to take a 50% pay cut, but I saw the road and I was like, I can fucking grow this thing, I would do it 100%.
And the month before was like 8,000. The month before that was like 6,500. So we were significantly scaling. Like, once we got around like 100 reviews or so. So it took maybe 18 months or 2 years before, like, we were starting small, right? You do a couple sales. Actually, when we first did it, we didn't realize. So you can actually, like, jump on someone else's listing if they are selling a generic product. Like, if you ever buy something on Amazon, you'll click like other sellers or whatever, and sometimes
and it shows
like
you everyone else
10 people.
It.
Yeah. So every time if you click buy it now, that's the buy box. Those people will rotate in and out of the buy box. So if there's 10 people,
it's whichever distribution center is closest to you is where they'll send it from, right? Essentially,
yes, but that doesn't have anything to do with the sellers. So, like, if 10 sellers are selling the same product on one listing, so let's say you're number one, I'm number two. When one sale happens, it goes to you because you're number one, and then you move to the back of the line, and then I move up to the spot. So you keep rotating in and out of the buy box.
Wait, what the fuck? How many people? And that's as long as you have the same price, right?
Yeah, and the same product, and you join on the listing. Obviously, if it's a brand like a Nike or you have like a copyright, you get all by yourself. No one can jump on your listing.
If you're a seller,
you can.
Just a reality.
No, you can lock it. And if your product is very specific, people can't copy it, right? It'd be difficult for them to do. So you can either have a difficult product that no one can copy and then no one can jump on your listing, or you can get like a copyright or things like that. Amazon will lock it for you so no one else can join in.
Is that like so that's why a lot of these products have these like bullshit brands on them.
Yes,
like,
and that's why you'll see like a product that has a lot of good reviews, but it'll have shitty reviews, and you're like, what's going on? It's because the knockoff person that's on the listing, they're sending out shitty products to people. So the people who are mad and leaving bad reviews they just randomly had to be like the third person.
It's like those ones that are like not an authentic Revlon makeup pen.
Well,
and you're like,
anything that's an actual like name brand product that's like from a company, like those listings are locked. Yeah. But like, let's say you're selling like a random toy, right? That's generic, that sells from China. Well, they could be ordering from a different manufacturer than you, and that quality could be shitty. So when the person gets the product, it falls apart quickly, and they don't realize there's like 3 people selling on that listing, and like 2 of them could have high quality product, one could have shitty.
Know that.
But every third one that gets sold goes to that, like, the shitty person's product is going out. This is getting very detailed into the weeds of it. But anyway.
Yeah.
So when we first initially did it, like, we just jumped on another person's listing. One, because this person wasn't using FBA, which means Amazon. You send all the product to Amazon's warehouse and their employees do it. It's basically passive income at that point. Like, you don't really have to do anything. Or you can be like an eBay person and send it out of your own house. So we saw a listing that like, it was like kind of towards the top, like not as high as the rest, but they weren't FBA. They were only sending the products from their house. So I think at the time,
and there's no way that could be as quick as.
No, it's not a 2-day thing. It takes like a week for them to do it. So they weren't getting that many sales. And we were like, hey, we're not like also mailing from our house, like screwing them. We're going to do FBA, which just gives people both options, right? Like, so at the time, a product came in and we were about to go like on a trip, I think on a cruise or something, within like 2 days. So I just did as many as I could to get them prepped and mailed them to Amazon. While we're on the cruise ship, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, the product got to Amazon, like our listing's live. Let me check it out. We sold out in 1 hour of like the 60 something tags that I sent, or it was like 110. We literally made like, I don't know, like $600 every day for like a week or some shit. And I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck just happened? Like, this is real. We didn't expect to go that fast. But then the person reached out and they were upset and they're like, hey, like, you know, this is like a side business we do to like get by, like paycheck to paycheck. You basically jumped on our listing. So we're like, cool, like no problem, we'll leave. And we got off their listing and everything like that because our stuff was like sold out. So it was easy. And we started our own from scratch. But that was our proof of concept, right? Like
Oh
we tested
my
it.
God. That's a freaking hell of a proof, man.
So then we ordered more, and so we talked to the manufacturer. The stuff would come in. Our orders weren't like large enough to go by shipping container because you have to do either half a freight container or the full one, and you pay like a flat fee, and it takes like a month or two to come across the ocean on a boat. Then you also have to hire like a freight forwarder in China to basically like pick your products up from the factory and get them on the ship. So there's a lot of moving pieces. We almost got to that point right before COVID happened, which I'm glad we didn't, because we would have sunk in like a significant amount of money. And
got
then
so lucky that you cashed out when
the travel industry basically got shut down. And we made like a pretty significant, I think it was like $6,000 kind of like refill purchase right before COVID hit. So we did have to basically like liquidate product once it started dragging on and cruises weren't happening and no sales were happening. It's like, we're sending all this product, like we'll just sell it at the break even point to get our money back, which we did. But anyway, so to have it shipped by air freight. So it'd be air freight, and then you got to do the customs paperwork. And then we would basically like have them ship through like UPS or FedEx or something and go through like their customs things. You pay like, a few $100s. You can handle it on your end, or you can have like the person in China handle it on their end, and the cost is just included in the total price. So we would like wire transfer money over to the factory. Like they would make the products, and then they would send them over, and then they would arrive to our doorstep, which the Amazon driver or the UPS driver, I'm sure, would be pissed. It's like 50-pound boxes, like 30 of them, like these huge fucking
Why wouldn't you just
like,
send them directly to the Amazon warehouse?
Because you have to put the Amazon barcode labels on each item.
You put UPC codes.
You can pay Amazon to do that. They'll charge you, I think it's 25 or 50 cents per. But when you're small starting out, that would murder your margin. And when you're doing like hundreds or thousands of them a week, 50 cents starts adding up, right? Because your profit margins are already like small in that. And then if you're under, there's a cutoff on Amazon. If you're selling products under $20, it's like, that's where everyone's at, man. It's like the Coliseum, like straight up, everyone's murdering
that's
each
the
other.
Shit where people just log on and they're like, bang, buy, bang, buy, bang, buy. It's like you don't think about it.
It's the most competition of other sellers because it's the easiest barrier to entry, low price point. If you get over $20, that's when you start moving into like professional, legit businesses who do this for real. And there's no like, I'm going to price cut you. When you're under $20 and you're competing with like 100 other people selling the same shit, sometimes it just becomes price cutting each other to get the sales, and it's just a race to the bottom to where then all of a sudden no one's making any profits. So that's why it's important to be niche if you're under that $20. But anyway, so we started building. I would get all the products, and I was also quality checking them because, in China, if you're sitting there like, the person at the factory stuffing like 100 of these bags, like an hour with, 4 tags and then 4 like metal ring loops that attach it to your luggage. Sometimes they put 3 instead of 4 in there, or sometimes they put 5 instead of 4, or sometimes they miss a piece, right? So like I would go through when I'm slapping this barcode stickers on each one, and I would check to make sure there was the right amount. It's time consuming.
That's smart.
But it saves you from getting someone complaining and leaving you a bad review or sending it back to Amazon.
Yeah. And both are bad.
Yeah. So
that's smart as hell. So that actually getting it sent to you is even better because it just gives you that last looks moment where you can like do that QA, right?
Correct.
QC.
And you could hire someone to do this. Like that was our plan to scale, is just like as our business, like actually hire employees and pay them like, $15 an hour, someone to have someone do that as a group. But there's also companies you can hire outside of Amazon. You can ship the products to from China. They'll sticker them for you. They charge less than Amazon, and they'll quality control check it for you. But
dude, it's crazy that spawned a whole industry, dude. So I'm gonna challenge myself to try to do that again, because I was playing with it, but I think the product that I was picking, it was in the fitness category, and it wasn't like crazy expensive, but ordering large volume of it was getting into the thousands of dollars, and I was like, oh, I don't know, should I do it? Should I not? Didn't bet on myself in that situation, and then I got intimidated by the shipping. But you kind of like made it, demystified it, which is cool.
And it works for sure. And if COVID didn't happen, but before COVID happened, we got, sorry, I'll try to make this short. So this whole episode is not about FBA, so we can talk about other tactics for people as well too. But
I definitely think we should do like, I made a note to do like an entire episode on this, because this is like, I want to ask more questions.
All of a sudden we got like a a cease and desist letter from Carnival Cruise Lines, like their fucking lawyers, and then Amazon just completely shut our listing down without any warning. One of our photos that was like a stock photo that came from the factory that makes the products showed like, you know, someone's boarded pass printed like in the tag, you know, right? So people can see like what it looks like. And it had the Carnival logo on it. So they didn't even give us a chance to remove it, which we did instantly. Like, and almost every person in that entire category selling luggage tags had multiple cruise lines logos on their things. And when I looked, we were the only ones that got shut down, which I'm like, this seems suspicious. And I was like, is this a fucking for real thing or is this a fake person? So like we literally hired like a fucking Amazon product lawyer to like fight the fucking letter we got from Carnival. And I fucking called and I'm like, is this called Carnival? Like, I want to talk to your legal department. Like, is this person even fucking work here? So
what'd you find out?
Well, it was legit. The lawyer that we hired was basically like try to help Amazon like get our listing back, because at that point we had hundreds of reviews and they were like, our average is like 4.8 stars and we were crushing the category.
That right there is worth a ton of money. Just you get to pivot to a new
not
product.
Starting from scratch. And we were in the second position behind that person dominating. And what I think is what happened is that person who was dominating, we started taking like became significant in their market share, like plus 10%, pulling from their sales. And our product was better. I think they fucking filed a complaint against us or reported some shit.
Like red flags you to Carnival?
Yes.
And Amazon.
And because they're such a big seller on
made sure
Amazon,
their photos were updated.
Amazon
logos on them.
Amazon was like, hell yeah, you're our top seller in this category. Like, fuck that other person.
Wow.
So then we had to start. Obviously, I was like devastated. And
it's a weird thing though, but like kind of an odd sign of success. I mean, that is awful that happened.
Yeah.
But if you guys never were successful, it would have never happened. So it's like, in a weird way.
And then we started the new listing from scratch with new photos. And then we just started building up again. And it was like another year and a half. And we started making traction much faster than last time, right? Because we'd been through it. We knew the process, like how to be doing better. Then COVID hit and, you know, travel shut down for a year or two.
After the travel industry got crushed and with a different product.
I mean, I could, like, all the other sellers basically got wiped out. And now there's very few on there. But part of me is
like, why didn't you guys just pivot to a different product?
We did. We had probably 12 different products listed, because as that grew, all the profits we made, we kept adding more products and researching. And eventually we moved to like a $50, $60 product. So we started going like fucking big. Like, instead of making, you know, like, I think when we'd sell the tags for a 4-pack, our profit was like $3 a sale or something like that. But now as we started moving into other categories, it was like, all right, now each sale will make like $30 profit. But
you don't sell as many, but like each sale is significantly higher ROI.
Correct.
Essentially. And
then you're not dealing with all the under $20 like price cutting and like small time entry levels, right? Like you're dealing with like professional market. But anyway, just different things that happened of expanding products, things not working here or there. And then like, I don't know, money we started putting to real estate and investing and things like that. And then once COVID hit, it was just like, all right, fuck it. Like investing in real estate, like that's where we're kind of pivoting to. And
I think the good takeaway is that, you know, if you get a side hustle that was like an awesome, like essentially like full-time hustle, but it helped grow a nest egg to then move into like a higher tier hustle. And, you know, you had money from other stuff too, but like, you know, like there's a kid on YouTube who like blew up a channel and then like used the money to buy a ton of real estate. Now he doesn't do YouTube anymore. Like, so this extra $1,000 or like, you know, you guys are making significant, like tens of thousands of dollars. Like, it's not like it can be a means to an end, or it could be a means for growing more. Like some of the, I was reading about this, some Amazon sellers, there are now companies that roll up sellers and acquire them. Mm-hmm. And then just like I'm like, oh, so what that guy should have done was just said, hey, Cam, listen, I'm going to freaking take over your operation and like just absorb you into mine and just giving you like a buyout or something. So, and a lot of companies are doing that because it's so lucrative.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So it's definitely viable, 100%. One caution thing, and this shouldn't like keep anyone from doing it, but like Amazon sides with the customer 100% of the time, and they'll just make you eat the cost of like damaged products or things like that, or they'll take customers' word about like, I never got that. Like some of the stories people tell you straight up like lies, but anytime someone had an issue, you can
get away with it, you know, a handful of times before they get hit. But if it happens once, especially because it's like, I'm like, dude, and before you told me that, I was like, God, Amazon, their customer service is so good.
For this,
they always give me a refund when I ask.
Not for the sellers.
Yeah, because they don't lose any fucking money. Like,
yeah,
they're like,
they make the sellers
lose
the money. Yeah, so people don't know this, but at the time when we were doing it, a third of all the products sold on Amazon are through third-party sellers, small businesses, basically.
And then, okay, so a third are through third party, and then the other
are Amazon.
2/3 are large brands, and then Amazon's brands themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Amazon's very smart about this. You go and spend all the time and money and effort researching a product, getting the product built, getting it on the website, proving that the product's good and makes sales, and then Amazon just slides right into your category. They have every factory in China because they have a bunch of shit made there. They reach out to their factories, they copy your product, they build a listing, they undercut your price because they don't got to pay the fees, and they fuck you.
I mean, dude,
and that shouldn't discourage anyone,
so
but like
smart.
Their business model that's why they make so much money and they're filthy rich.
Genius,
like,
dude. And that's how people need to like reframe their mind. It's like, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, dude. And so I'm glad you mentioned this side hustle that is actually like a upper echelon level side hustle in terms of the amount of money you can make. All of this shit, if you really put effort into it, or time and effort, whatever, it's going to require the same amount of energy be expended. So it's like, do you want a side hustle? Like, I was reading you could take surveys online. Like, dude, you're going to make no fucking money doing that. And it's going to take you just as much time. Yep. If you took surveys 8 hours a day online, you might make a couple $100, maybe, probably like $20 realistically. If you spent all day researching Amazon or like going to estate sales and finding products you could flip, you're going to make significantly more money, but you're going to spend the same amount of energy. So that's another important thing is
correct.
Make sure you're targeting the energy more intentionally.
So to shift away from Amazon, also another really good route to do is drop shipping. So drop shipping is basically like you can have listings on eBay, Amazon, like all those same websites, but the only difference is like when someone orders that product, you then are placing an order at someone else's store or website.
You like hop on Alibaba and like send it to them.
Yes, and then purchase it, and then they mail it directly to that person. So you're just like an intermediary that's taking a cut.
But that's how that Shein website started. That massive like million item fashion company just started as like a drop shipping company. Yep. It still takes fucking forever to get your items from them, but like because it's so cheap, people are willing to wait. Yeah.
So the positives is that you literally don't have to put any money in. You have to build a website, and what is this, like $35 a year or something like that, or a month?
Yeah. Now with like the templates they have, you can make one that actually looks like a good website.
So you can get like WordPress, which is like, I don't know, like $10 a month. And then you need a, like a .com website, and it's like, I don't know, whatever that is.
$12.
Yeah. Like $30 a year or something like that through like GoDaddy. And then you're set. You just copy all the images off the other website, and the only downside is the shipping time, right? Like people are so used to Amazon, like getting something in 2 days. For minimum time is like 2 weeks to get things drop shipped from China.
You know what? And actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Amazon's shipping times are not, I mean, they're still the industry standard, but they're not good anymore.
Yep.
Like most items are taking like 3, 4, 5 days plus, right? Just because of all the shipping issues that we've had post-COVID. So this is actually probably a really good time to dabble in that drop shipping because people are a little less spoiled when it comes to like the quick shipping on Amazon. Dude, I use Splenda. I ordered a box of Splenda last week. Like I was like, where the fuck is my Splenda? But like, because you're just so used to it being like you order it and then the guy like knocks on your door like 2 seconds later.
Yeah, exactly. But I think even with shipping times locally being difficult, they're also effective like overseas.
Oh, so even those are worse.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So that was another reason too
like,
that I was like, I don't want to get back into Amazon because there's so many like unknowns now and issues with China and like having just, I mean, go to the store and look at, you know, most of the store shelves are like not fully filled, especially when it comes to like
groceries are so goddamn expensive now too.
Yeah.
So Abby does she orders most of our stuff through the Target app and then we just go pick it up. So like I hadn't really bought like large scale groceries in a while, but I was off. So I was like, oh, I'll just like take some stuff off her plate. I went to the grocery store and got like a normal amount of stuff. It was like 40% more than maybe 30% more money. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Eggs were like $7. I was like, whatever. Like I'm fortunate enough I can afford $100 grocery bill, $150, but like I was still like, when did this happen?
Yeah, vegetables last year increased in price by 80%.
Well, a lot of that too is like, so it's the shipping, but then like the government subsidizes a lot of that stuff, so the farmers can like still make money, but then like they fuck the consumer. So it's like the farmers win, the consumers lose. So like I don't know.
Yeah, well, and the price of everything went up. The fuel to run the tractors, all the fertilizer, like everything they used to grow the food, like the price of all that stuff went up a lot. So that's why the price of everything
that's true.
Had to follow, right? But so back
that's what we should get into. We should flip barrels of petroleum. Like next time it crashes, let's just like, have you seen the episode of Always Sunny where they like get a bunch of like trash cans and like gas prices are going through the roof, so they fill all these trash cans up with gas and they're like gonna resell it.
Yeah, like, and like no one's buying their barrel gas like on the street gas. That show's amazing.
Hey, because they're driving one of those shady vans. By the way, my old roommate, this dude, super cool guy. He was actually in the Army too. He was a combat engineer.
Mm.
He bought fucking speakers out of the back of a van at a gas station for $800. And he comes home and he's like, dude, I got these new speakers. And I'm like, oh, dope. Those are nice. I'm like, where'd you get them? And he's like, oh, yeah, this guy was selling them. I'm like, where? He's like, yeah, I saw him at the gas station.
Did they work?
In his van. And I was like, that's like the start of every shady TV, like,
they're definitely
of, like, comedy. Like,
definitely stolen for sure. If they
and they were like 4 times more expensive than they should have been. Oh. Just so fucking funny, dude. Like, I'm glad it happened just so I can tell the story. And I'm sure he does too.
I've bought some stuff in parking lots from people that
like a Craigslist interaction, though. I'm hoping not like
they were like, hey, this was buddy, like I'm just there, and someone was like, "Yo, man, you want to buy some cologne?" And in my head, I'm
were you like in high school?
Yeah, I'm like, I know this shit's stolen. I'm like, all right, let me see what you got. And I'm like, how watered down is this? Like, I know the deal. Come on, man, let me smell it. I'm like, it smells like it. Like, fuck it. All right, here you go. Here's like $20.
Dude, I know.
But one time, this dude rolled up to me at a stoplight, and I was in the Camaro, and he was like, "Yo, man, you want to buy some subs and like a box and everything, like car package? Like, I'll hook you up, good deal." And I was like, "Oh yeah, man. Like, let me see over here." And I thought he was gonna sell me like some old ones he had, right? But they were like in the boxes new, and he's like, "I got tons of ones." And I was like, "Oh, this shit looks stolen, like super shady." I was like, "Yo, man, like I'm around the ATM." I'm like, "You got a business card or anything like that?" And he's like, "Nah, man." And I just called we had like a campus like cop or whatever that used to be at our school. And I think I took like a criminal justice class for him for like credits. And I just called him up and I was like, "Yo, man, like this dude across the street from the school is like selling stolen shit."
That's awesome.
And then I don't know if they made it
up for class.
I don't know if they made it over there in time or whatever for that guy, but I'm just like I'm not a rat, bro, but don't be trying to like scam some fucking high school kids. Like,
yeah, that's
get out
a
of here,
point.
you like pedo and you're fucking your fan.
Dude, I was watching. Did you watch the Kaleidoscope show? So it's definitely worth checking out. It's like a heist movie, and it's a TV show, and like Netflix randomly, it'll show you it in a random order, and it ends on the same episode. So it's told in like 8 pieces, but it doesn't matter what order you watch it. But like depending on what order you do watch it, it like changes the experience. I mean, maybe. I mean, I feel like I could have watched it in any order and had the same story, but it's a cool idea. Anyway, though, they steal shit and then they like fence it. And I'm like, so they stole like an Audemars Piguet or whatever, those like really expensive watches, the Royal Oak. I think they're like 30 grand. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll give you $5 grand for it. And I was like, who's buying these stolen watches. Like, when I'm a rich guy, am I just gonna like call my stolen watch guy and be like, hey dude, like I can afford the watch, but I want to buy it cheap. Do you have anything stolen that I could have? Like, who's buying that stuff?
So, like auto theft is very popular for high end stuff, right? And I've watched some, I think it was Dateline 2020 thing. And I have the same thought process that you did. Like, who's going to buy that here? Like, you get pulled over, like people can know the car's stolen, not to mention like, yeah, the car might cost 200 grand, but like you're getting a deal at 100 grand. If you could afford that, you could afford the car. But the thing is they don't sell them in the States. They steal them from the US and they sell them in South America and Asia and places to where the cars won't ever get tracked. So over
and then they
there,
can still charge like double what they paid, and some guy will be like, oh, this is a good deal.
yeah. So over there, they're like, it's not accessible for them to get those like high end cars like Ferraris and Lambos on a regular basis. So they're willing to basically buy the ones they know stolen, right? Like,
and they chop off the like all those registration stuff's gone. That's smart.
Well, I don't think it
Actually,
matters
I was
anyway.
watching
If
a
it's in like
documentary.
Argentina, like who's going to come repo that car, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I actually was watching a documentary about the car. I don't know what country it was, but like they estimated that like 80% of the European cars on the roads there were stolen vehicles, and like it was somewhere in like maybe like Russia or something like some. So like everyone drove like a nice European vehicle, but they were literally all stolen.
I believe that.
Maybe it wasn't Russia. Maybe it was South America or like Africa or something.
Oh, just to finish up real quick with drop shipping. Sorry, I know we're getting long on time.
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
So one of the things is that's difficult about drop shipping is you have to get traffic to your website. So that's kind of the catch with that. So the catch with eBay is like you got to have a ton of products like filling up your house or a storage facility or something. With drop shipping, it's like if people don't know your website to get to it, they're not going to buy the products. But the good thing is customer service. Like sometimes people complain. Getting clothes from China is very difficult because the sizes are different and some are very different. So if you go that route, we would always have like, we'd find like a manufacturer that we like their products and we'd have some of the shirts shipped to us so we could try them on to make sure.
Like a sample.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like large
weird.
and that shit's extra small in China. So
Well, even when you buy like the suggested size, it's like 3X, it's like an American large. They also make all their stuff for like really slender people. So like everything that I bought from those fast fashion places is like really tight in like the crotch or the butt or like the chest is like real like taut and I'm like in it like I can't like move my arms. They're like fits my body as long as I don't move.
Exactly. But the good thing is like to buy a shirt or whatever, it costs us like $3 to drop ship from China. We're selling for like 15, 20 bucks on our website. So when someone be like, hey, this shirt doesn't fit me, it's too small. And we would just be like, oh yeah, like, you know, we'll send you like the proper size. And they were like, where should we ship back this other shirt? And it's like, no, you can just keep it because it would cost us more to like pay for them to have it shipped back to us or wherever.
That's so smart.
Than for them to just
And
keep
I actually read that website. It's not a drop shipping site, but it's like, this is why I'm broke. They advertise on Reddit. So I would suggest anyone who wants to invest in something like that, use some sort of like platform to advertise. Reddit obviously works well, maybe Facebook, but Instagram, whatever. But just to draw, once you have the traffic, then you don't need to pay for it anymore. But like you definitely do need to get the word out there. And a lot of that, don't do Google advertising. It's insanely expensive. But most of those social platforms, you can do like $20 a month to start.
And we did that too. Like I would have fake Reddit accounts and I would post and I'd be like, yo, check out. Cause we would sell like all this movie memorabilia and popular TV show stuff like coffee mugs and t-shirts and things like that. And I'd be like, yo, check out this cool like Game of Thrones jacket that I just got or whatever, like in the Game of Thrones thread. Right. And people be like, yo, where'd you get that? I want to get one. And they post the link to the website. Right. Like,
and that's the secret too, is you don't just go on and go, guys, check out this t-shirt I got at Cameron's Game of Thrones shop.com. They're like, oh, you fucking bet. But if you just show it and then it's really smart because I see that all the time and I'm hip to it, but I don't think most people are hip to it.
And then we did Google advertising, which yes, Joe is right. 100%. Basically what we would have to spend to drive like ads through all this like click funnels and all this like back end stuff. was basically, say we spent $2,000 a month in advertising on Google Ads, that would basically like break even for the sales we would do on the store.
Okay.
So
I mean,
it's not
that's
like
pretty good if you're just trying to gain. If it's like
if you can get repeat
you're using
customers
it as
out
like
of it.
yeah, exactly. Like once you start gaining, like especially if you had some sort of subscription model, I think then you can like spend money to make money, right? But yeah, that's freaking expensive. I mean, I just know I worked in marketing for a long time, and like the people just prefer the other platforms sheerly because of the cost factor.
Yeah, and we did Facebook advertising too. So every single one of these categories could be a podcast completely by itself to dive deep into. Like,
yeah, we should probably break,
what we did and things like that.
More because like I want to like dig into more of these. You know what would be super cool? We should figure out how we could like do a challenge, like do like a 30-day challenge, and we try. Maybe we actually put our big juicy brains together and try like, okay, this month we're going to try this month we're going to try this, and the first thing that becomes like, I don't know, successful where we think we can scale it, then we can double down on it and then kind of like talk about the process. I think that would be super fun.
I like it. That's a great idea. We should definitely do that.
Cool. So comment on which ideas you guys like the most and other ones you want to hear about. We'll definitely do another one of these episodes because we covered some of the like basic ones. There's a lot of other ones. If you have any skills, you can market them. You could fucking babysit. I wouldn't, but these are all like things you can do on the side. If you're a young person, dude, you want to babysit? I think babysitters making like $20 an hour now. You could do it like once a week. It's like what, maybe $200 a week. That's almost $1,000 right there. Like it's just things that like you don't think of. Sometimes you have to trade money or trade time. Sometimes you trade a skill. Sometimes you find things that you can flip, and then shit, if you get a side hustle and it builds up over time. I mentioned that This Is Why I'm Broke website. The guy like spent an hour like every other day just kind of casually building it. He makes over like $200,000 a year from a website that just has affiliate links on it.
That's another one we didn't cover. Affiliate links, the big one. Shit,
affiliate links, yeah.
You could buy a pressure washer. You can make 6 figures a year if you have a pressure washer.
Oh my God, that's a fucking awesome idea. Mowing lawns, dude. My brother had a lawn mowing company and was making like in high school like 80 grand a year, like in his pocket. Like he was like loaded, you know, like he like went out into the world and did other stuff. But
and YouTube, you can make money. We started a YouTube channel and made money on that too. So we'll have to dive into some of those on another. Maybe
and then we'll have
two.
to kind of create categories of like speed to profit. Cause I feel like some of the ones like the like eBay and selling stuff, you can almost make money I'd say within a week. With something like a YouTube or a affiliate link or drop shipping, it's like you have to like allow the churn to, you know, the snowball to grow. And then when you hit the tipping point, then it's like plug and play. So that might be interesting too, to kind of dig into. Any final words? Great czar of side hustle info.
You're very kind. I would just say, give it a try. Like there's so many other things that we didn't cover that you'd be surprised. Like you can literally find anything. And a lot of these hustles you can find on like YouTube, people talking about like stuff that they've done. You can mirror those in your area as well too. And like Joe said, you know, it's not necessarily like a get rich quick scheme, but if you're like 18 or whatever, and you're like, hey, I'm going to really put effort into this thing. I like doing it. 2-3 years later, 5 years down the road, I mean, you could have a full, you know, time business that you started from the ground up that, you know, the potential of income it can bring you is like limitless. So
yeah, when I was in high school, having an extra $1,000 a month, I would have felt like a rich person. Like that, especially when you don't have bills, is like a decent amount of money to like have like walking around burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah,
and a lot of these
candy
at
high school.
Yeah, the candy side hustle, dude. I mean, I love the golf ball hustle too. If you guys, I forget what episode we talked about that, and I like that hustle a lot.
What about you? What would be your takeaway?
Yeah, my takeaway. I think the biggest thing is for me, it's so we talk about it. One of our sponsors, Get Rich Retire. That's a website that I work on, and like it's a very slow process to make money on a blog. And so I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to make this blog and like turn it into a thing. Like you can't even get Google Ads certified for 6 months. And then you have to be able to prove that you have like a decent number of like traffic coming in. Right. So I didn't know that, but like you just do it. Like go do a thing and like put the actual like college try into it. And if you hit a point where you're like, you know what, the effort isn't worth it anymore, I've spun that into some other things that I'm working on now that are easier and more fun, and I enjoy them more. And I've already built all these skills for that thing that maybe didn't work out. So if you try FBA and it doesn't work out for you, it works out for a lot of people, but now you have all these new skills, and maybe you go, you know what, actually I could probably apply this to this now. So the biggest thing is just like, if you want to do it, just pick something and just try it and give it an actual try. And if it doesn't pan out, it'll probably pan into something even better.
I love it. I did want to add one more thing.
Yes.
I know people may think I'm biased saying this, but Joe's an amazing writer. The articles are really well written and the information's amazing. So go check out the website. You'll be excited for the kind of things that you'll be able to learn on there. So
thank you, man. Yeah, GetRichRetire.com. And also check out our podcast. You can catch us on, my God, my brain fart, Spotify, and we're on YouTube. So subscribe to either. Leave a comment. We actually had a comment the other day. I know it's funny to say, but like soon they'll be rolling in. But a new subscriber and me and this guy were like kind of chatting. He does like photography and like just like 3D printer stuff on his channel. Kind of interesting. But yeah, leave a comment. What kind of like things you want to hear about? If you've tried side hustles, if there's any side hustles you want to like challenge us to try, like I'll try it and like report back. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week. And have a great night.
See ya.